What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Leon from Leon Talks TV, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're delving into some interesting ideas from the man himself, Dan Bilzerian, about dating and attracting women. He believes that many guys are held back by limiting beliefs, like thinking they need to be tall, rich, or have some special talent to impress women. But Dan argues that these things don't really matter at all. And yes, I know, I get it. Before anyone says anything and states the obvious, like, oh, it's because he has status and he's famous, or it's because he's filthy rich. Understand that you can have all these things and still be lame when it comes to dating. So let's break down some of these tips because some of them are quite interesting and I would say educational for learning more about these type of stuff if you're into it, you know what I mean? So let's break down these key points and see how they can help you in your dating life. So who is Dan Bilzerian? So Dan Bilzerian is an American businessman, social media influencer, and a poker player, known for his lavish lifestyle and extravagant parties, often referred to as the king of Instagram. He gained fame for sharing photos and videos showcasing his wealth, his luxury, and interaction with beautiful women, portraying himself as the ultimate ladies' man. Bilzerian persona is categorized by his bold confidence and unapologetic attitude, often sparking discussions about masculinity, dating, and lifestyle. Additionally, he has a background in poker and has claimed significant winners in high-stake games, contributing to his public image as a successful and controversial figure. Chapter 1. Understanding Attraction, Dan's unique perspective. You see, Dan Bilzerian shares interesting insights from his experience of becoming famous. He realized what it's like to be a beautiful woman and the kind of attention they get. These experiences opened his eyes to how women are often approached and judged mainly based on their looks. By seeing things from this angle, Dan learned a lot about the psychological behind attraction and how to handle it strategically. He emphasized that it's important not to overvalue looks alone. He understands the power and pressure that comes with beauty, both for men and women. So, because of this understanding, Dan's approach to attraction is all about value, confidence, and being a challenge. He believes that relationships should be based on more than just looks or social status. It's about finding deeper qualities that really matter. Chapter 2. Let go of limiting beliefs. First off, Dan wants men to stop believing that they need certain looks or status to attract women. He points out that many guys who have these advantages still struggle. He uses Bill Gates as someone who has wealth but will still struggle when it comes to dating, while others who don't fit the mold find success. The key takeaway here is to focus on who you are and what you bring to the table, rather than stressing over physical attributes or wealth that you don't acquire. Chapter 3. Looking beyond looks, the importance of discernment. Alright, let's delve into something really important that Dan Bilzerian talks about when it comes to dating. He warns guys not to focus solely on a woman's looks when deciding to pursue her. A lot of men make the mistake of seeing a beautiful woman and thinking that's all there is to it. But Dan argues that you need to dig deeper. He asks some tough questions like, what if she has some serious underlying issues or some serious major issues? What if she's not mentally stable? What if she's dishonest or has been with a ton of people? I don't know. Maybe she slept with 1,000 men. Who knows? What if she's not a good fit for you generally? So the point is that you should be curious about more than just her appearance. You want to find out who she really is beyond that initial attraction. Dan emphasizes that the biggest mistake guys make is thinking that good looks are enough to win someone over. However, just to add, men will often tolerate and ignore red flags the more beautiful a woman is deemed. So this mindset often leads to a situation where the guy is just trying to figure out how to get her to like him, which puts him at a disadvantage right from the beginning. So instead, Dan advises men to step away from this shallow approach, encourages them to be selective and really think about whether a woman is right for them. It's about being discerning and not letting physical beauty be the only thing that guides your interest. So remember, to look beyond the surface and get to know the person as a whole. Chapter 3. Avoid over communicating interest. Dan also talks about how being too eager can actually hurt your chances. When guys show too much interest, it can make them seem less desirable. Instead, he recommends balancing your interest and being a bit of a challenge. This means making women work to earn your attention, which can make you more attractive in their eyes. Chapter 4. Shift from chasing to being chosen. One of Dan's main points is about the difference between chasing and being chased. When a woman is interested in you, your flaws seem smaller to her. But if you're always the one chasing, it can have the opposite effect. Dan advises men to focus on being the kind of guy that women want to pursue instead. Chapter 5. Be challenging, not just nice. You see, Dan's distinguishes between being genuinely nice and being nice just to get attention. He believes that being a little challenging can be more attractive than simply trying to please everyone. It's okay to have opinions and stand out and stand your ground. It shows confidence. Chapter 6. Shifting the focus, asking the right questions. So let's talk about a powerful question that Dan Bilzerian suggests asking when you are getting to know a woman. Apart from your looks, what other qualities do you have? This question can really change the vibe of your interaction and help you stand out from the usual compliments that women often hear. So, what does this question do? First, it takes away looks as her main advantage. When you ask her about what else she brings to the table, you're challenging her to step out of her comfort zone. This pushes her to share something deeper and more unique about herself instead of just relying on her looks. Second, this question flips the script. Now, she has to sell herself to you instead of you trying to impress her. She's focusing on what makes her interesting or valuable as a person. Dan points out that this approach is way more attractive because it's unexpected and shows that you're discerning. You're not just easily impressed by looks alone. When men use these tactics, they come across as more confident and challenging, which many women find appealing. The conversation shifts from just chasing after her to a more mutual qualification, where she has to prove that she's worth your attention beyond just her beauty. This way, you avoid looking desperate and instead create a genuine interest and connection. So next time you're talking to someone, think about asking questions that go beyond looks. Chapter 7. Unique and earned compliments. When it comes to compliments, Dan suggests steering clear of the usual comments about looks. Instead, he encourages giving compliments about unique qualities that a woman has earned or developed. This not only makes the compliments stand out, but also shows that you see her far more than just her appearance. You see, Dan Bilzerian points out a common issue that many women face, especially attractive ones. He explains that they often hear the same compliments or pickup lines over and over again, like, "You're so beautiful." Because of this, they tend to develop a negative reaction. When a woman constantly receives generic praises, her walls go up. She remembers all the times men approached her just wanting to focus on her looks with no real interest in who she is as a person. This repetitive experience makes women skeptical and less open to typical compliments. They feel these compliments are superficial and that men think looks are the only thing that matters for attraction. However, I would just like to say that although that is true to some extent, but women always appreciate generic compliments from men they find attractive. That's just my opinion. However, we digress. So, Dan emphasizes that when a man exclusively praises a woman early in the conversation, it sends a message that he places himself below her because he's too impressed by her appearance. However, overly complimenting is definitely out of the question, whether she even deems you attractive. This can actually backfire, making her less interested because she's sensed that he values her looks more than her deeper qualities. So, what does Dan recommend? He suggests giving compliments on something unique or something she has earned. This kind of compliment stands out and breaks through the skepticism that women often have from hearing the same flattering lines again and again. So, women often become guarded and disinterested when they hear the same generic compliments. That's why Dan advises men to be more original and thoughtful in their approach. By focusing on what makes a woman special beyond her looks, you can create a more genuine connection. Chapter 8: Adopt a discerning mindset. Finally, Dan emphasizes the importance of being discerning. This means really thinking about whether a woman is right for you rather than just pursuing anyone who shows interest. By doing this, you build self respect and create a more mutual connection. So, my opinion, I feel like he's made some great points. I also don't believe in chasing a woman, rather, it's about the pursuit. I believe in attracting rather than chasing, and that's always been my motto. Additionally, don't be hypnotized by her beauty. Once you are, you become a slave to it. As I mentioned before, the more beautiful she is, the more you will tolerate and ignore the red flags. Men tend to fall in love quicker when a woman is more beautiful. So I think he's made some excellent points in that regard. I also believe it's okay to be a bit more challenging, asking deeper questions and not just rolling out the red carpet because you're infatuated with a woman's beauty. However, something I noticed while watching his interviews is that he never really mentioned men building themselves up. I still feel like men need to work on improving themselves. You don't need to be rich or the best looking person in the world. You just need to be the best version of yourself and I stand by that and I always will. This means being in the best shape you can possibly be in, not necessarily super jacked, but good for yourself physically, mentally, and financially. You don't need to be rich or be the richest man in the world, but as long as you're comfortable and can still do just things that are possible, like go on holiday, go for dinner, etc. These type of things. As long as these are accessible to you, then you're pretty much okay. Now, I feel like then you can then demand the standards and boundaries when it comes to relationships. It's all well and good to say these things, but if you're not in the best position, I don't think you can make these type of demands or be picky. That's just my opinion. So there you have it. Dan Bilzerian teaches us that it's not just about looks or flashy tricks when it comes to attracting women. Instead, it's about mindset, behavior, and being selective. By focusing on who you are, being confident, and treating women as equals, you can improve your dating life. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So let's chat in the comments about your thoughts on these ideas. Until next time, take care and salute.